Yo, what's up? Happy Wednesday. Happy White Belt Wednesday. We back. Uh won't be streaming too long today. I gotta pack up and get ready to go. And that's it. White Belt Wednesday. Go help out a white belt. Adopt a white belt. You guys know what to do. Come on. Help a white belt tie their belt. That's it. We're just gonna get started with some stories and pray I can get through this. Maybe an hour or two. I gotta dip. I gotta eat and pack. So we're gonna get right into it, guys. I tell you guys not to date at your gym. You guys don't listen to me. I got called a misogynist one time. Victim blaming. All I said was, hey, don't date at the gym. Why were they dating at the gym? Someone called me a misogynist. Maybe they were right. I don't know. I give that advice to everybody, regardless of gender or whatever. Don't date at your gym. There.
I know I want out. I'm not comfortable here. I ended that relationship. And guess who ended up leaving the gym?
Tell us.
It was me, the student. It was not the coach, yeah. And I did not see it coming. So once I started training there, I started to date this black belt. And they had a very strict policy about coaches not dating students. But he kind of fell in love, and he told his boss, hey, this is pretty serious, I want to really give it a shot. Do I have your permission? And he was like, yes, of course, but you have to know that if things go wrong, it's your responsibility, and you're going to be the one leaving the team, the student is not going to be affected by this. Well, then the relationship became serious. We started we dated for around 3 years, and by the end of the relationship, which was beginning of 2024, I decided it wasn't working for me. It wasn't really very romantic. It was more like a friendship, and it just wasn't fulfilling me anymore, and I wanted to put a stop to it. But of course, I was already working there on the kids class. We were doing that together. My career was there, my job was there, my whole life was there. So finishing that relationship could affect my other relationships inside the gym. So I wasn't very sure what to do. But the day got, and I was okay, I know I want out. I'm not comfortable here. I ended that relationship. And guess who ended up leaving the gym?
Tell us.
It was me, the student. It was not the coach, yeah. And I did not see it coming.
Yeah, I tell you people not to date at your gym. And she was all intertwined in that gym. She was all up in that gym. Working there. That's her social network, her friends. Yeah, again, I'm not victim blaming, not blaming anybody. Actually, I blame the coach. Why was the coach dating the white belt student? It's always the black belts, man. It's always the black belt coach trying to date the white belt student. Unfortunately, this is a common story. So, I tell you people out there, don't do this. Nobody listens to me and get upset when the same thing happens. I've done seen this 20 million times, guys. Come on. But I'm sad that happened with her. Yeah, very, very rarely does it work out. I can maybe once or twice I've seen it work out.
Being a good coach and being a good businessman are four completely separate things that don't necessarily have anything to do with one another. You could be good at any one of these four things and not necessarily be any good at the others. Everybody knows the guy who's good in the gym but just can't perform in competitions. Some of you might also have experienced someone who's awesome in competition but just can't put across their ideas to anybody in the training room. I have seen countless people who are not even necessarily good competitors, good on the mat, or good coaches have extremely successful jiu-jitsu businesses. I have also seen the opposite. People who are good coaches and were good competitors have extremely unsuccessful businesses. I don't believe that these four things have anything to do with each other and are all completely separate skills. Let me know what you think. Being good at jiu-jitsu, being a good competitor.
So that's Darren O'Connell. If you don't know him, he coached Fionn for a good minute, I think 1 or 2 world championships and then maybe an ADCC title. He says, I think all four of these things are proven through objective results. Good on the mat means you win rounds. Good in comp means tournament results. Good coach means student results. Good businessman means busy mats and profitable business. Yeah. very rarely are they all on the same business. I think AOJ, Autos, probably a couple of the only ones that have all that stuff going on. Most schools got 1 or 2, usually not 3 or 4. If you want a good business, you need to be hitting on at least 3 of those, with business being one of them. If you guys joining us, it's White Belt Wednesday. Go adopt a white belt, help them tie their belt, help them shrimp, and help them stay motivated.
That it was just like second nature, like it felt like training almost. You know what I mean? Like we were at a competition every weekend. That really got, I feel like that had a really good kickstart as far as our confidence and just feeling like another day. And that's what I tell all my friends and everyone, that's like, there's no secret. There's people in the training room that I swear better than all these guys in the competitions, but when they go to compete, it's just not quite the same, and vice versa. You see guys that are just, they're not quite the best at the training room, and they go in the competition, they just blow up, and everyone's a little bit different, and I think the only way to compete the way you want to compete is to get comfortable competing, and the only way to get comfortable competing is by competing, right? So you're not just like, oh, I did this and now I'm not nervous. You know what I mean? I've been doing this my whole life and I still get nerves sometimes, and I still get nervous. So it's about mentally, just Ty would say this all the time too, and we need to keep taking this talk or this medicine, but it's like, you don't want to, the only times you're there and you're really nervous and you're just like, all right, here we go, I'm not really super like fired up to this, is when you know that you didn't do everything that you could have. When you're going through a training camp and you skip those days or whatever, and you didn't train nearly as hard as you could have, and we've had plenty of camps like that. It sounds cliche, do everything you can, but it's not until you're talking about confidence on the day of the competition. Professor knows this. When you do everything that you can, when you step on the mat that day, like, there's a normal comp nerves for sure, but like it doesn't even matter. That's the exact words. It doesn't matter because you already did everything you could.
Shout out to the Rotulos giving some good advice. I want you to notice that the Rotulos get beat up. Look how beat up they are nowadays. All that their style of jiu-jitsu, Tacket style of jiu-jitsu, we competed. Canuto style of jiu-jitsu, that ain't gonna work forever, bro. Didn't Ty just hurt his knee? Cade hurt his knee. So their style is, while it's very effective, they're gonna be injured for sure. Most teenagers do get injured, but man, yeah, that's rough, bro. The style they have is not for longevity. That's like a 25. After 25, that style not going to work no more. Their body won't be able to hold up. They 20 years old? We got Tariq. If you guys don't know Tarek, I call him Tariq. He's from Norway, and he's the guy behind the Tariq Plata. You guys love that submission. And all the Nogi guys, they be calling it something different, and I'm like, no, that's the Tariq Plata. They call arm saddle, blah blah blah. Nogi guys be quick to change the name of a move that's been around for a while.
It's just holding around my waist in close guard. Yeah, typical Tommy. I believe I get the 2 points, and then I have the worm guard here. I get to the side of his body, almost like a close armbar position there, but he manages to turn in towards me and break the grip, which is super irritating because it's a really good position to be in, and if I would just manage to make it work from there, I could have won the match.
Yeah, Tommy Lenker is a tough guy, especially in the gi. I don't think no gi really suits Tommy, but when he's in the gi and he's got some grips and his legs can just move, they got a brain of their own, them legs. I like both guys, though.
If you're a purple belt or higher and you get tapped out by a blue belt, you should quit jiu-jitsu. Take steroids. I haven't. But the heck happened? What
Check out this view. Super cool spot.
Belt thoughts. If you're a purple belt or higher and you get tapped out by a blue belt,
you should quit jiu-jitsu. Take steroids. Check out this view. Super cool spot. Love coming down here. If you're a white belt, you're just starting out at jiu-jitsu, get into a bad position, you don't know what to do, spaz the fuck out. Get the fuck out of there as fast as possible. If you get subbed in training by somebody that's bigger than you, make sure you tell them that it's because they're very strong. They'll love that. It's a compliment. The ducks in the park are free. So you've been training for a little while now, finally feeling like you're getting some skills under your belt. Just caught an upper belt with a submission for the first time ever. Rip it. Rip the submission. This is your only chance. Black belt thoughts. If you're a purple belt.
All right, don't take this guy's advice. What's up, Marley? What's going on? What personality we got today, bro? I'm not gonna be on too long today. Today I gotta pack up. But we'll get through some stories real fast.
ADCC has announced their upcoming dates for the ADCC Worlds. And they also announced the location. So it looks like coming up this next year, ADCC is going to take place in Poland. Now, we've been spoiled here in the United States. We've had at-bats at it multiple times in a row. But it does look like this time they're going to be in Poland. And why is that noteworthy to us here in the States? Well, us here in the States, it means that we will need to basically be, I think it's 9 hours back from where they are over there. So it is going to change viewing habits. And this is really going to test a lot of you guys for your viewing habits, because children, there was a time where we didn't have it on Best Coast time or East Coast time. We literally would be up until all hours of the night watching these events. And if you knew what I'm talking about, that means you're a real one. So right now, it looks like they're going to be September 12th and 13th, 2026. And it is in Poland. Tickets are on sale now. This is a pretty big one here, guys. The ADCC has announced their upcoming dates for the ADCC World.
Yeah, so you guys should know. Yo, what up, Quan? ADCC going backwards. Well, originally it was supposed to travel like the Olympics. So we got Quan on here. It's going back to its roots. They're gonna probably try to develop. When they move it, they try to develop that area. So they move it to Poland. They're gonna try to grow the European market. Move it to Asia. Try to grow the Asian market. So I think it is a good move. It's not convenient for us and Quan. Quan got spoiled over there. He had ADCC there 2 years in a row. 2 years, basically in a row. 2 tournaments in a row. So Quan can't go down the street and watch ADCC no more. So that's how it is. I do want to see it travel. It should travel. We got to get out of Vegas. I know you guys love Vegas. I know Quan loves Vegas, but we gotta hit that world tour, bro. We need that. We need this thing in Japan. We need this thing in Africa. We need this thing. The Arctic. Let's go. This thing need to travel, bro. We need that world tour. He said they tried to grow too fast. They did grow. ADCC has grown. The last 3 or 4 ADCCs have been better than all the other ones, production wise. And also just prestige. I feel like it's more prestigious when it keeps moving. If it stays in America, they really need to take it to Australia. They need to take it all over the place, really. It's not convenient for us, but you know what? We're not the whole world. There's a lot of, when they go to Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, bro, woo, they're going to have some money over there. I think that's where they did the original one too. So I think it's good to see it travel. Again, it's not convenient for us, or Quan, but it's good for the sport, I believe.
Nice Kento. Good. Pitch to the mat, Kento. Nice Kento.
Quan says, not sure if it'll be as prestigious an event anymore now with CJI and UFC BJJ around. I don't think UFC BJJ is prestigious. Quan's cousin is in UFC, so he's gonna defend UFC. I don't like UFC. Quan, I'm not gonna argue on Quan on that one because he's definitely gonna defend UFC. I don't think UFC is prestigious to me. I think CGI is pretty prestigious. I mean, ADCC is still going to be prestigious regardless, and I think IBJF Worlds will still be prestigious. We'll see. They're going to duke it out. All I know is that if UFC becomes the top dog, it's going to become like the MMA world where there is no more competition. You know, if you get kicked out of the UFC, like the guy that fought Buchecha, Quan, what about that Buchecha match, bro? Set my man up. So not only did Buchecha, the guy beat Buchecha, but that guy, he got cut from the UFC. So, you know, if we lose the CJI and all these other tournaments, UFC, I don't think they're going to do a good job with BJJ. And I know Quan can't defend Mikey. Can't defend Mikey or Claudia. Says they probably wouldn't be able to fill those Vegas seats anymore. Possibly. You know what? If they do it overseas, they could do it cheaper. Do it cheaper. And remember, ADCC was never about making a profit. It was just for fun. The Sheiks wanted to sponsor grappling, and honestly, whatever their budget is, it ain't nothing to the people in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or Saudi Arabia. That's nothing. They be wasting that money on cars and stuff. Says what tournament? JH says what tournament is this? This was the Lackland trials, the Giles trials that they had over in Australia for their CJI team. Says Buchecha just isn't UFC level in MMA. Well, he was fighting in the UFC, so that means he's UFC level. I think it's more that I don't think that match should have happened, and I don't think it wasn't a good match for him. Nobody won. Buchecha lost, and the dude got cut. So who won? Who? Nobody did well from that. That match. Who helped? That match didn't help anybody. Quan, can we agree to that? That match didn't help Buchecha, and it didn't help the other dude because he got cut. He hasn't been fighting. He couldn't fight on his one championship contract. I don't care who you are. If you ain't fought for a year, you're gonna be rusty, bro. Again, Quan gotta defend UFC because he lived right next door. Where am I? Says who you think will be a part of ADCC Poland? I don't know. Gonna be a lot of Polish people. I think the Europeans gonna probably try to take over. You know, they're still going. It might be some of the usual suspects. 2026, we'll see. I think the girls will be the same. Adele and some of the girls. Might see some of the younger girls. Helena back in there. Maybe Sarah Gaval. I'm not sure who you're gonna see for the dudes. You probably see Pato back. You might see Baby Shark. I don't know if Mika will go back. I think a lot of dudes will be retired by then. So we're probably going to get a lot of new blood, honestly. Josiah says, dog, Gianni is ecologically mad at me, and so is Bodega. You know, man, they different over there. That water over there is different. Juan says, Buchecha needs to learn better stand-up skills and have better cardio. That's every jiu-jitsu fighter. That's every jiu-jitsu fighter. You know, Adolfo, all them dudes, Damian Maya. It was all those guys. Well, Buchecha was never good at no-gi. You know, he was way better in the gi. He just wasn't, Adolfo too, even though he won his match. He says, yeah, he's low level in UFC, and UFC put him against another low. That guy wasn't low level though. The guy he fought, he wasn't low level. He just would win by a decision. That doesn't mean he was low level though, Quan. He was on a three win fight streak. That's low level? Nah, bro. He needs to compete against lower level. That's what I'm saying. There's lower level people in the UFC, but they put him against like a almost top 10 dude. He top 15. He should have been top 10 possibly. They cut his butt. How are you going to defend that one, Quan? They cut him. Lower level guys aren't. I don't know, man. Yeah, but that's the issue with the UFC. They put everybody out of business. They put WC out of business. They put what was the other ones? They put Bellator out of business. They put too many people out of business. So you ain't got no low level MMA cards no more. If you don't fight for PFL, UFC, or one championship, you ain't fighting professionally no more, really. So that's what happens when you have that monopsony. So whenever Quan's defending UFC, I'm like, well, they're going to put everybody out of business. And look at Claudia. Claudia, she said that Kennedy was boring. And I just watched the match with Claudia. She can't say nothing about nobody. Marley says, ADCC so shallow, I have a shot at winning. Possibly. He could maybe win a match or two, maybe. At the Open. I'm not sure about the trials or anything. He says, nah, I commented a lot on Gianni's posts for support, and it backfired on me. People lie and say I stalked the guy, and it ain't true. I really want to face Gianni one day. Maybe, I don't know. Put some money up. Gianni will fight you for some money. We got Kynan over here. I'll get back to the chat, but let me move a little bit.
Oh, drops down on the wrestle up. Declan Moody had come up on the wrestle up, and Duarte used that opportunity to snatch the head, get chest to chest on him. Oh, he's got a lot of pressure. He's on here, right?
Oh, and that's it.
I don't know if we're gonna see this Kynan at the CJI. We might see the one that fought Nicky Rod. Wasn't the guy that got cut 8-1? Yeah. Quan said that guy's low level. Quan said that guy low level. He got an 8-1 record in the UFC or something. 3-1, something. I don't know what his record is. I'm waiting for Quan to defend him, bro. Guys, Quan got to defend UFC. They're neighbors. Quan be walking over to the PFI or PI. He says people think it's corny today to show a lot of positivity today. Don't pay. Yeah, nobody's positive anymore. He says there are smaller UFC events. Okay. Well, why didn't they put him there? Why they set him up? That's my issue, Quan. Why they set him up? That's all I kept saying. I said they set him up. Said, bro, what is it like competing at ADCC? And what advice you have for someone who wants to compete at ADCC, IBJJF, and even who's number one? I don't know. It's the same. It's the same. It's just, just crazier because people staring at you like an animal. It's different when you do IBJJF because everybody's kind of there to watch their friends, but ADCC is more so a show, and people gonna risk their lives out there. They're taking stuff they shouldn't be taking. They're doing stuff they shouldn't do. I just remember, when Paulo got his leg destroyed, basically, and it's just like a lot of people are like that. Like it's their dream to be out there, so they're gonna do some stuff. And honestly, I think the trials are worse because the trials you're gonna get some crazy people. You're gonna get Marley out there trying to fight Gianni. Yo, Marley, go to the trials. You might fight Gianni. Or was it Josiah that's trying to fight Gianni? You both could take him. Go for it. Advice for someone that wants to compete at ADCC and IBJJF, and I would say make a name for yourself to where people know you. You got to win something. Win some trials, or that's the best advice. Win. Don't be a personality solely. Don't just rely on your clout. go win the trials, go win those tournaments, prove yourself that way. And, be approachable. Don't be afraid to reach out to, the Flow Grappling team or whoever's in charge of those things. Just let your skill speak for yourself. I mean, you need to promote yourself on social media too, but let your skills be the first thing people, because when you get into those events, they like looking at your record and how many people know you, and I think just win, bro. It ain't no rocket science. He needs to fight through. Quan says he needs to fight through those ranks or even fight in Contender Series. Win a championship in a regional or local event. There are plenty throughout the States and in Brazil. The issue with him is that with his record and his resume, he can't go that route. It's really hard to go backwards when he's so accomplished. That would be like telling Kayla Harrison, hey, you need to go back to the regional. You got to go to Invicta, Kayla Harrison, even though you got 2 gold medals or whatever gold medals. So that is an issue when you have a prestigious wrestling background, prestigious judo background, prestigious jiu-jitsu background. You're going to have trouble getting matches. That's kind of what happened to Toquinho. Over there in, I think he's in Arizona. He couldn't get no matches. And so they can go backwards. But also remember, a lot of these jiu-jitsu people are a lot older when they start MMA. Buchecha's probably a year younger than me, and he just started fighting about 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago. So they don't really have the time to work themselves back. And then, he probably got some decent money at one championship. So if he goes to those lower level events, he might not get the same prize, the purse and stuff. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I know Quan, his cousin, fights. It's different. It's different. Again, it's different. Your cousin's different than Buchecha. Your cousin's younger. Of course, your cousin got more striking, but he doesn't have the jiu-jitsu pedigree, so he's not quite the same. Not everybody's starting off the same. Where the heck am I? If I miss your post, guys, listen, I just can't see everything. Says Buchecha's manager is the one who sets up his fights. UFC doesn't run regional events. But I mean, UFC tells you, all right, we got this fight for you. Take it or leave it. And Buchecha hasn't fought in a year. So, he's desperate. So again, that goes back to UFC taking out all the competition, basically. Some of that they just survived. They just outlasted Pride. Actually, they brought Pride. Well, they could have brought back Pride. Let's not bring that back. WC, we don't need that anymore. Cage Warriors or whatever. Let's just kill that off. So all those regional events that you could have developed your skill in, the UFC killed those. So again, you start defending UFC. I'm like, well, they're gonna kill off. They'll, God forbid they buy CJI or put them out of business or who's number one. And you rather have Claudia and Dana White in charge of jiu-jitsu? I think not. Marley says, I don't know what to even post on social media to promote myself. I repaint on competition record only. 1-0 novice division. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Do some dancing. That's why them TikTok people be dancing, because they can't do nothing else. You could put some rolling footage. You could put some commentary. You could, I don't know, whatever you want to do, bro. You can do whatever you want to do. Quan says he needs to pad his record and his experience. Well, that's what the one dude that you said was low level. The dude that you said was low level had a 15-2 record, 16-2, 16. I don't know what it is now. And they still cut him from the UFC, so that when UFC calls, he's good enough to compete. Well, again, UFC put everybody out of business, Quan. Where are you supposed to go, Quan? There's 3 organizations, Quan. He can go to maybe a lower. You want him to go to bare knuckle boxing, Quan? He ain't got no hands, bro. Josiah to a fault is right. I'm Grippo hunting. All right, Quan paid by the UFC guys. He got to talk up the UFC. Quan cannot defend Dana White though. Josiah says I gotta beat Gianni Grippo one day. Yeah, one day. I wish more Coral belts competed. A couple do. They just old, bro. They might have a heart attack out there.
Wrestling as a little kid, there's no way that I would have been as good as I've become without my parents really pushing me. And the first thing I'll say is that there's no one size fits all. There's a very small percentage, if any at all, of kids who wake up and they're like, oh hell yeah, I want to go wrestle. My parents essentially forced me in the fact that I didn't want to get out of bed, but they just pushed me to go. But once I went, I loved it. Even if it wasn't the wrestling per se, I loved playing dodgeball, I loved eating ice cream, I loved hanging out with my buddies. Parent has to be willing to push a kid to a certain extent. You have to recognize if a kid is hating it. If he's hating it, that means he's in there and he's like, oh my God, or he's making excuses, always trying to sit out, clearly showing signs that he doesn't want to be there at all. In that case, you have to pull the reins off. Wrestling, just like almost anything else, it's like an exponential growth, right? You have to get to a certain point before you start to blow up. So if you miss that initial development stage, you'll never get to that point where you can blow up. And I don't think you have to wrestle year round either. If you push hard in the season, let your kid taper down, take a few months where maybe you don't wrestle at all, maybe it's just a little bit. In season, you can push hard, 2, 3, 4 practices a week. A tournament a week I think is just fine. I think going to bigger tournaments is great. But again, I think it depends on the kid as well. You have to really recognize the signs of what's going on. The age when you can really start.
All right, we got the Gianni is not liked on this channel. Says I can't defend Dana White, UFC BJJ. I do like some of the athletes. It's just the matchups aren't really good. Quan not going to agree, and I don't like Claudia or Dana White. Said you will beat him one day, man. Your main goal right now got to be pushing for that match. Says, bro, you should go to his gym and ask to have a match with him. I don't know if that'll help the stalking allegations. Nah, I don't think they're gonna let him in the door. Dun, dun, dun. Jesus Christ, that hurt my ears. Why all the Gianni hate on here, guys? I like Gianni Grippo. He says, how am I supposed to get good at jiu-jitsu now that I have a job? Well, it's rough, bro. Yeah, Josiah, they got his picture on the door. Don't let this dude in. Quan gonna start. He the marketing director for UFC BJJ. Quan says, that's all I'm saying. I think UFC actually put that guy up against Buchecha thinking Buchecha was gonna win. Isn't that on them, because they cut that guy even though he was winning. He would win by decision, but he was still winning. So, I mean, that goes back to the UFC not knowing, the guy's a decent fighter. They want you to go out there and, I mean, everybody can't be Quan's cousin knocking down people. And, if someone's winning, I mean, GSP, people complain about GSP winning, and he was one of the best champions. So that's like one instance of you not being able to win. It's just like you're not a good matchup for the organization, and that's just that. I didn't see the match, but the guy pieced up. He pieced up Buchecha. So I don't. That match didn't help anybody. Can we agree to that, Quan? That match didn't help. That match didn't help. It didn't help Buchecha out, and it didn't help the dude that won the match. The dude that won the match got cut. But isn't that up to the promoters to make good matches? That was not. They did not set up a good match in that case. I think. Quan quick to put it on the athletes and the manager, but I think who's ever setting up the matchmaking is very look how they matchmake for UFC BJJ. Is that good matchmaking, Quan? Was Harrison the dude that never did no-gi versus Mikey Musumeci, was that good matchmaking? So I'm just extrapolating that to the MMA portion. I think the UFC has bad matchmaking. Bro, there's so many posts. Is there a way to slow the chat down? I can't see everything, guys. Grippo, you got a Grippo fan club over here. So I only trained 1 month this past May since January 2024 because I tore my ACL. Oh, that's right. And meniscus and got surgery 4 months later. I've been writing many essays, converting my tacit knowledge. Well, you can put that over voiceover. You can do the voiceover for your essays. He says, I used to have a crush on Claudia. Ugh, good luck. That definitely has changed over the years. Side note, don't lump me into Gianni hate. Okay. Claudia, that MMA changes those girls, bro. They fighting some demons out there. Quan says, Buchecha just blew his chance winning and just letting this no-name guy in the bottom of UFC ranks sweep him and steal the rounds in the last seconds of each round. Well, you said everybody in UFC was high level, Quan. So that guy was high level to me. Guys, so that dude has a 15-2 record. Quan said that dude a low level dude. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, Quan. And just because that guy might not be exciting, that doesn't mean he's not a good fighter. People said the same thing about GSP. He's one of the best fighters in MMA history. And I'm sure it's different when you get out there. Maybe he's just one of those guys that doesn't look like he's doing much, but he'd be two-piecing. So we got a tag team Gianni Grippo. Yeah, maybe call him out, bro. Jesus Christ, guys, I cannot keep up. Also, ironically, doing your job and winning, then getting cut is such a symbol of modern day jobs. Quan over here defending everything UFC does. I mean, I get it, Quan. You have to. Your cousin's in the UFC. You got to defend UFC. It's all right, man. My hero is Tony Ferguson, and he has like 1,000 of his fans blocked. I hope Marcelo comes back. Maybe. We got Marcelo with Imanari over here. Yo, Marcelo all legs, bro. Marcelo all legs. What is Marcelo, 42? That hair disappeared. Imanari's doing better in this role than he did at the match they had. And just so you guys know, Marcelo's way bigger than Imanari. they ain't in the same weight class. I'm hoping Marcelo does the match versus Wagner Hosha. That's what I'm looking forward to. We gotta get through these stories. Jesus. Says I gotta give Gianni Grippo an ecological spanking. Maybe. This is your best chance to beat him because he's doing it all ecological. I don't know, Quan. I'm not agreeing with what you're saying, Quan. He says, at the end of the day, from what I saw, Buchecha was set up to actually win by the UFC, but Buchecha blew it at the end of the day. Again, I think it's easy to say that from the sideline. You got to win. But most people have some losses on there, bro. It's hard to fight. You know it. Look at your cousin. For every standout fight, you might take a beating. I think that's a case of people underestimating the other dude You know, UFC. You think the judges in UFC really know MMA? I don't think the judges even train MMA. Who are the judges? At least for CJI, you know who the judges are. You don't see even for UFC BJJ, you don't know who the judges are. Probably MMA people that are telling you to wrestle in a submission match. So I think they underestimated that dude. Clearly, they don't value the other guy, the dude that has a winning record. They cut from the UFC. And style matchups, he has to win. Yeah, but man, they set you up for failure. They think you think they set him up for success. I'm saying I don't think they set him up. They maybe that's what they thought, but the dude was tougher than they knew. The dude they cut, they don't value that guy. They're gonna be like, he's terrible, he sucks, and the dude's good. And we can't change people's view sometimes. Sometimes they think you suck. You see that happens with grapplers and fighters. People think you suck. GSP, that's my example I'm using. People thought he was boring, he's stalling. He would win though. So it's like, if you're telling me one of the greatest MMA fighters was boring and too strategic, and he's the greatest fighter, I don't know what else to say. Wagner called out Marcelo. Please answer the call. Yeah, Marcelo. Moneyberg has Claudia on lock, bro. Sorry. Yeah, that is true. Claudia is spoken for. Moneyberg a sugar daddy to a lot of these people, dudes and girls. Says who would win, Gianni or Moneyberg? Moneyberg, he gonna throw his money at Gianni. Of course, Josiah says Gianni. I'm going Moneyberg. 3.5 years is no joke. That's true. 3.5 years of, I don't know how many, God knows how many private lessons. Guys, if I don't see your comment, bro, just realize there's a lot of people in here typing. And me and Klein over here have an argument. He says not at the end of the world for Buchecha either. We'll see. They'll cut him the next match or something. What if Buchecha wins and they're like, we're gonna cut you. Your style's not suited for our organization. You could be a good fighter winning. They don't care. They don't care. You could be UFC BJJ. You could be winning the match. Claudia's like, you boring. You're not going to get a title fight. Can't say nothing about it. What are you going to do about it? What's your advice to Kennedy, Cobrinha Jr. Quan? Just do better. Win next. Well, he did win, and they still don't want him back. He just needs to win his next match, and he'll be fine. Hopefully, you can still win and get cut. Marcelo says, y'all got to train me. I want Gianni Grippo to take me seriously. I think you got to face him at trials or something if he does ADCC trials. Quan says, the mindset of most UFC fighters is that they can they can win a championship. Unfortunately, that's a lot of those guys are delusional. They don't have the skill set, Only I don't know the exact percentage of people that win the championship in the UFC, but it's a small number, and even if you do win it, you're not guaranteed to maintain it. And it's tough, man. It's tough. I like listening to the fighters that are made money, and who's the guy in Europe that won? I can't remember his name. He's like, bro, fighting crazy. He's like, the chances of you winning and making money are just so small. And I understand people, their dream is to be in the UFC. I'm just saying, be smart about it, Get the sponsorships, make your money, blow up your social media while you can. You got to use the UFC before the UFC uses you. If Buchecha Marcelo's 43, all right, yeah, Marcelo. I think Wagner's 42. Oh no, I think Wagner's 43 as well. He just had heart issues like a couple months ago. Says if Buchecha doesn't think he can come back and win and eventually be champ, he probably doesn't need to be in UFC. I mean, you always gonna have the journeyman level fighters. You can't. There's no way everybody in UFC is not a champion. They're just not going to be champions. So you need journeyman fighters. You need some career fighters that are tough, maybe not going to win the championship, but they're right there with it, you know. Especially for entertainment. Remember, UFC is entertainment. Remember that. It's a fight business. This is entertainment. If they wanted the best fighters, it would look a little bit different. I mean, they got some good fighters on there, but how many people are just social media people? Cooked. Craig beating Gable, I'm calling it. I mean, Gable doesn't even train MMA or jiu-jitsu or nothing. By leg lock. Let me move on a little bit, guys. I need to talk a little bit. It says, it's sad. It's a sad thing you got to retire losing to someone that has never done anything in your sport. That's true.
To the match, of course, this is the biggest match of his career, and I hear he's going to even try to retire after this match. But it's a sad thing that you got to retire losing to someone that's never done anything in your sport, and that's going to be the hardest part for him. So if he wants to go to Thailand and hang out with who he needs to hang out with, if he wants to go to Colombia and do his thing, Ecuador, Peru, Spain, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can go where you need to go. You can dye your hair pink, you can dye it white, you can dye it green, you can dye it blue. I'm still going to show up and do my thing, and he's going to show up and hopefully make it to the match that day. Do I think he's going to make it to the match? Of course, this is the biggest match of his career, and I hear
Can't play that song for sure. For sure gonna get blocked. You know, Craig's training hard, guys. He's over there. He's training hard. He's enjoying life. He's enjoying life. At least his tidy whities are clean. You know, that's impressive. All right, so we'll see what happens. I have no clue what's gonna happen. If I missed your message, bro, guys, understand there's like a million messages. I was thinking Gable was a really good shot at winning, but now I think about it, he doesn't have any real path to victory. I don't know. He is big and strong. He maybe could do something. Same. I think it was leg locks or heel hook. It would be heel hook, maybe. I don't know. Craig is not gonna. You're not gonna finish the match too fast. Top heavy pressure and keeping your legs away. That might work, yeah. I only dislike GSP because he did Nick Diaz dirty. I appreciate him more now, though. His first priority should be defending his legs. Second priority should be winning the match. CGI 2 is gonna be fire. Yeah, guys, make sure you give Craig Jones a couple dollars. It says Megaton Diaz as a coral belt still competing is inspiring. But he shouldn't be out there. It says dog Owen Jones versus Gianni Grippo. Be honest, I said Owen Jones. Unless Gianni stops doing, if Gianni goes back to drilling, I'll give it to him. But otherwise, ecologically, I got to give it to Owen Jones. Are you going to join B team? Who? Me? No, I'm good. Why do people love Craig Jones so much? They love personality, man. It says when did you last compete? I did New Jersey Open in June. Yeah, late June. What makes you say I'm going to be a black belt in 1 year under Derek Moneyberg? You're going to have to give him a lot of money. Imagine Gordon Ryan at CGI. He might go. He got his team out there, so maybe he should go support them. He got all his athletes at New Wave, all his Kingsway athletes out there, so maybe he should go support them.
Mr. Luke Griffith, he will be teaching all the 6 a.m. beginners classes, which will be in the gi. So we're just going over. We have like 20, 30 people on the mat right now, and all the way from white to black belt taking the beginners class. So we're just going over some closed guard breaks, standing up, getting to vertical posture, and then going into passes from there. So first day should be busy. Beginners class, thank God, wasn't like overly packed. The advanced and the pro classes, though, we'll see how it goes. Everybody kind of leaning forward and then two stepping up. If you lean forward and there's no momentum, it's hard. Just lean forward and just glide up on his hip.
And then we're just shifting this way for this.
Yep, pushing you down. Yeah, can you knock down two up? Arm really down, that big. Just push the legs up and go in and we'll start getting up to the top of those. You know, get into a triangle.
While looking at tossing up and blocking up. Okay, so the main thing we're worried about here is as we get up, we stay with our weight evenly on both feet, and we get sat back down. Okay.
The hell did he just put his hands on the floor? Did you guys see that? What the hell was that? Luke, should you be teaching? Did you guys see him put his hands on the floor? What the hell technique was that? And they're teaching basics class. And he got it's crazy because Jason Off in there. That's probably his first basics class. What the hell is going on over there? Jason Whitfield, can you defend this technique right here? He just put his hands on the floor. Maybe that's what they do at Danaher. I don't know. Did Henzo Gracie show them that? I never seen that. All my life, we tell people, don't put your hands on the floor. Don't post your hand on the floor. Did you guys see that? All right. Jason Whitfield love him some Gordon Ryan. And some Luke. I don't know, man. That technique right there.
So now, as I feel my training partner.
We were here for the first day at Kingsway with.
Did you guys see that technique? And looky in the gi. My man tried to make some money. Where's the no gi at? There's no gi 6 a.m. no gi class. Or is it that people feel more comfortable in the gi? And they just want to learn the basics. What's crazy is Jason Nolf, he got a blue belt. He don't even know the basics. He probably can't even open a closed guard till today. So this is the sport we're in. It's all finagled. That's like me, you know, I don't know, get to the NCAA winning states without knowing no takedown. We'll see what happens, bro. I just want you guys to focus on Luke Griffin. He over there put his hands on the mat. I guess he is tall. Why didn't he just frame the shoulders like normal? Am I behind the times? Am I doing jiu-jitsu wrong? Just watch this. I'm gonna click on it. Watch when he stands up. Is that the right technique, guys? That's right. Is this right? Look at that. Is that right, guys? Is that what you guys learned in basic class? Or hey, keep your hands in the armpit. What? Maybe I don't know jiu-jitsu. Maybe I've been doing it wrong. That's wild, bro. That's crazy. Guys, if I don't see your message, bro, listen, there's a lot of messages out there. He was shocked when Gianni lost. That's when he lost. He lost, bro. He lost. Who tapped him out at Aiga? When Gianni faces me, I'm gonna retire my hero. Who beat Gianni at Aiga? Because I think he won. Gable is just going to Jason off Craig. Craig is going to play around and put himself in bad spots on purpose. Yeah. It's going to be the Gabby fight. He deleted that message. Can't see it. It said it will be sock ski on Wednesdays and no sock ski on weekends. So Gordon Ryan looks like someone's stepdad in the gi. He probably going to be his stepdad too. Amateur hour over there. Glasses and socks, bro. I'm just upset at this Luke Griffin. Let me zoom in for you guys. I'm upset at this. Should Luke be teaching the beginner's class with that? Look at that hand on the mat. Doesn't that open you up to the arm saddle, reversed arm bar, and some other stuff? Like, Luke, you shouldn't be teaching. You need to be in basics class too, bro. But you know, what do I know, bro? I'm just a hater. I don't know jiu-jitsu. I suck. That's what I hear online. Says it will be Mikey Musumeci approved. That is crazy. I've been hard on Mikey Musumeci, bro. I've been hard on him. If you actually listen to Mikey and connect the dots, it's like a lot of this stuff what he's saying doesn't really match up to what he's doing. Let's see. I've seen a few people do that lately. Maybe I don't know jiu-jitsu. Apparently, putting your hands on the floor, the Gracies have been teaching us wrong all these years. I'm gonna try that. And I'll get messed up, get flipped overhead, balloon swept. Says Blackie, always crazy. I like Blackie. Gianni isn't as good as you think he is. Yeah, he is good, but Ecological made him worse. Marley, I know people who rolled with Gianni and know him personally. They all tell me he's really good. Definitely. He can be really good and not perform well when it counts. That's everybody. Aiga Team Euro trash. One of them is my coach. Oh, cool. Which one? I don't know who's on there. Meja faced Gianni the second match. Aiga and Gianni tapped to a knee bar. Oh, wow. Is that the kid at New Wave? Or am I getting them mixed up? So Gianni is the guy I want to face bad. It says, dog, your videos give me the itch to compete. Awesome. Did you see Fionn Davies' new... Yeah, we've been covering her gym. They just had the grand opening. Welcome to the channel. We've been covering that, bro. I can't stay on forever today, guys. I need to get through some stories because I got to pack. It says judo and BJJ. Hey. Advantage. That's crazy. That doesn't score in jiu-jitsu, but I think in judo, well, it wasn't exactly an ippon, but, if say he landed on his back, that would be the end of the match. And in wrestling, that would be about 2 to 4 points, possibly. In jiu-jitsu, no points, you get an advantage. So it's crazy, the scoring system that we have in our sport. We got Mr. Stefan Mikic. He Gen Z fashionista. Now, what part of this is fashion? I don't know. You guys let me know what part of this is fashion. I'm not going to play that music. Says, I've seen Gianni lose to people you'd never expect to beat him, and I've seen him beat the best. Marcus Felon, is that your coach? Gianni slips on himself too much. Sleeps on himself? I saw Davies in my gym a few times. Yeah, she depending on what part of the country you're at, you might have seen Fionn. Says you might have a shot at beating him if you're overly negative and don't let him get any grippos on you. Said Dane just got tossed and no point. What the heck? Yeah, what the heck is the point of doing takedowns? You guys let me know. We got Stefan Mikic over here. He got the jeans with the singlet and the wrestling shoes, and the baggy jeans. So, I don't know what to say about these new wrestlers, bro. Gianni Grippo needs to go back to Marcelo. What's crazy to me is that I think this Everton kid won Nogi Worlds, but he kind of got caught in not the best setup. Yeah, rest in peace to Claudio Coib, Claudinho. We talked about him yesterday. I was looking for some videos of him, but I couldn't find anything. So, just live every day like you can, man. Live a good life. That's what I tell you guys. I don't hear Craig Jones telling you guys to live a good life, and I sure as heck don't hear Gordon Ryan telling you guys to live a good life. So I don't think this was the best setup. I think he could have defended this pretty easily. Maybe knee lever in there somehow, push the legs apart. He just wasn't really. What was he doing? Why was he over here on this leg? Exposed heel. He probably could have slipped his. Well, maybe too late to slip his heel there, but he could have been hand fighting. He didn't no hand fight. So when Rich Homie Quan is defending UFC BJJ, I'm thinking, man, these matches aren't good. But maybe that's part of the entertainment. You don't want really close matches. You want those off lopsided matches. Yeah, Grippo need to go. I think Grippo needs to go to a different team with a little bit more experience and maybe some more training partners. Grippo was really good when he was training with the Meow Bros. I know there was a split somewhere. It says I saw a pic of Danaher in the 80s with this. Yeah, yeah. Danaher was a manly back in those days. Jason Whitfield said Kingsway is so far ahead of everyone else. We don't even understand. They are doing techniques that they tell us not to do. They do it, and it still works. Now that's impressive. I think also being like 7 feet tall, maybe, and on several types of vitamins can help you too. I think I'm gonna stick to my foundational techniques of keeping my hands on my opponent when I'm in close guard. That seems to work really well. I ain't never seen the technique they're doing over there. Asm says, I've heard Dylan Dennis is coming back. He's supposed to go back to MMA. We'll see. Gianni has the best katagatami I've ever seen, and I want him to apply it on me so I can reverse it. It says the beakers and test tube methods is the best game plan. Mason Fowler's slow, methodical style is the peak of the sport. Yeah, he's slow and methodical, and certain people don't like that style. I'm not gonna play this song. It says guard pulling. Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with guard pulling as a competitor? Like, they did all the work for me. Now all I have to do is pass and submit you. That works at the lowest level. You can pass and submit everybody. You get the black belt, we ain't passing nobody at black belt. You can't pass. Some of the dudes you can't pass. They ain't had their guard pass ever. Mikey ain't ever had his guard pass. Kennedy probably. I don't think Kennedy ever had his guard pass. I'm not saying you can't submit those guys, but certain people you just can't pass their guard. You're not gonna pass off of Mendez's guard or Tynan's guard. To pass Tynan's guard is impossible. Or Cole, he ain't passing those guards. Maybe you can submit them. If you watch IBJJF, it goes to advantages. Even Pato won by advantage or a ref decision this year. Whenever people are celebrating people pulling guard, I'm like, bro, well, you're not gonna pass. And some people more dangerous from their guard. Like Craig Jones is more dangerous from his guard than on top. So it depends on who you're going to get up against. We got Mergali, he coming back.
Like once I combine jiu-jitsu and workout twice a day, of course, one of each, maybe my body's gonna be a little looser because I'm gonna be able to kind of move around on the mat and then find a middle balance between lifting heavy and doing jiu-jitsu. So this is the next step.
Margali's getting ready, bro. He's trying to make a comeback. We'll see. He had 2 shoulder surgeries, so I don't know. We love Mason Fowler. He is good. Gordon Ryan shot my dog. Oh, no. Are you related to Alec Baldwin? Nope. No relation. Dog, if you had a dream opponent, who would it be? I don't know. I don't know. I like fighting everybody. Mason Fowler, kiss equals the kiss of death. Yeah, I don't know about him kissing people, though. That's too much. I was actually there when Gianni and Paulo Miao competed in 2015. Where was this? Worlds or somewhere? Or Nogi Pans or something? Congrats to Neil Magny getting his black belt. Okay, who is that? Dude pulled guard on me in ultra heavy. I said thank you, and mother smoked him. That does work. That does work for the big guys. Well, the big guys usually don't have good guard. I think Brzezinski and Eric Muniz have really good guards for big dudes. The issue with big guys is whoever goes on bottom, that's it. They probably going to lose. So, big dudes, you guys need a guard too. Imagine you're a big dude, you ain't never worked your guard, and then you're trying to teach fundamentals class. Can't show no guard work. We got Fat Ninja. Don't hate me. That's his actual social media handle, Fat Ninja. Igor Tanabe, he's going to be going to Polaris. All right, bro. I'm happy to see him back in jiu-jitsu. He went the MMA route for a bit, but it's happy to see him back. CJI2 got Tim Planet team. Everybody's kind of attacking Gio Martinez. I like Gio, but I think some new blood would be good on that team. And I miss Eddie Bravo's hair. Remember when Eddie Bravo had that beautiful hair? No, did he? Look at that hair. Well, it was kind of going way back then too.
Freakazoid Martinez. Freak don't sleep. Boost. Alex Sanchez.
Alex Sanchez. He's going to be a problem for all the guys at the top. I'm not going to allow myself to lose.
Ryan Aiken.
Ryan Aiken is one of the most underestimated grapplers in Jiu-Jitsu. I think he's amazing.
Kyle Bain.
Choose your fighter.
All right, Tim Planet, let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do. Got Joseph Chin over here. What Joseph Chin got to show? I think everybody wants to see Joseph Chin versus Mika, so that would be a cool match. I think it's gonna be hard to pass on Mika though. He too flexible. Can you give some advice on training? Do it. Train as much as you can. Train smart. Listen to your body. Find what works for you. Could be ecological, could be more rolling, could be, watching instructionals. That's how Joseph Chin learned. He learned watching instructionals and testing things out. Don't be afraid to put in the work. I think a lot of people nowadays don't want to be bored. They don't want to do the hard work. They want the shortcuts. They don't want to take the time to actually develop their skill. But I think if you do things the right way, training smart, a little bit of strength and conditioning, mobility work, and of course focusing on your technique. Always focus on your technique. I think you can do well. In the 220s, it's more of a collar drag than falls. That does work, but there's always some dude stronger than you that can do that collar drag better than you. So you want to develop as much technique on your feet as possible for my big dudes. And then, God forbid you fight a judo dude. What's gonna happen when you fight a bigger wrestler or a bigger judo dude, and you ain't got no guard game? So always think ahead. You should be well rounded regardless. I do feel like the big dudes kind of slack on the bottom game though. I'm gonna say wrestler RSTLR. I tried to keep it respectful, but you probably shouldn't pull guard in ultra heavy. Eric Muniz pulls guard in ultra heavy, and he wins. So, but he started from a young age, and he's very versatile. If you watch Eric Muniz, he be playing around. He don't have no serious match. The only person that give Eric Muniz a hard time is Margali. But I think if you develop a good guard game at the heavyweight and above, you can do really well. But if you're forced to only do takedowns, again, what happens when you fight a better judoka, you fight a better wrestler, or you fight someone stronger than you, and they just collar drag you out of this universe. So I think you should be well rounded. So that's hard promo. Say what you want, but Tim Planet has some badass. Yeah, well, they're the only one doing their own marketing. Everybody else, where's Team Misfits? They ain't put no money into the marketing. Team ain't looking good. I don't know. Nobody else really has marketing. They jiu-jitsu people ain't good at marketing. Mika is gonna find the armbar. Somehow Mika jumps on that arm. He just so flexible. He's so flexible, and if you let him grab your arm, we watched the Roberto match. It took about 3 times. Roberto kept putting his hand. I think actually Joseph Chin does research, but the thing with Mika is that he's so versatile. He can do some stuff. You don't even know what Mika's working on. Marley says, I absorbed more info writing essays than I did in the gym, learning random techniques out of context. Well, that's up on your instructor. But if most good instructors, they usually gonna give context and show you the situation and explain why you're doing something. A lot of instructors, they see what you need and they're gonna show that. So you got to make sure you get to a good school. I'm not saying you got to go to AOJ or Standard Jiu-Jitsu or anywhere, but fine. There's good coaches out there. Some coaches, where do you train at, Marley? If you had Joe Schmo Jiu-Jitsu, of course they're going to show random stuff. Robert says, exactly, we had this conversation at my gym, and some of the big guys are working guard because most guys don't, so at the very least, have an armbar. And, armbar is kind of hard to get on the big guys, other big guys. It depends on your body type, too. If you a long-legged big guy, you can develop a guard. But if you're a stocky big guy, it might be hard for you. So, you got to use what you got. Be well-rounded because, nothing worse than a big guy gets taken down and that's it. He ain't got nothing else, Wrestler says, if I pull guard, it's to wrestle up. Okay. Do what you can from your guard. Marley says, me and Josiah are the real team misfits. Those other guys are posers. Ain't real misfits. Nah, they misfits too, bro. We all misfits over here. I used to train at Henzo Gym in Queens, then another East Coast United one. The issue of Henzo is that you guys got a ton of instructors. You had too big of a gym. And if you in New York, I think JT Torres probably would be the best fit. I know that's in White Plains. But if you're at a gym with like 500 members, they ain't gonna really focus on you like that unless it's AOJ. Even AOJ, they're not gonna focus on you unless you're really good and winning. So I say go to a smaller gym. That's why, Bodega, I think that's why Gianni likes Bodega so much because, he basically got Kevon to himself. Or people that go to Standard Jiu-Jitsu, they like that because they got Greg Solders to themselves. So I think you might need to go to a smaller team where they can really focus on your game. And it's not – because if you got 500 people, you got 10 different instructors, there ain't going to be no curriculum for you really unless you go to a Gracie school. So I think you need to go find a smaller gym that can give you that. A smaller gym with a good competition crew that can give you more undivided attention. If you're stocky, lasso the way. Sometimes that works. It depends on your body type, bro. I've seen different types of stocky where they couldn't play a lasso game. Says Gianni trained at Henzo's as well. Yeah, I remember when he made the switch to Marcelo's. Says the way BJJ is taught at academies is too reliant on your opponent reacting in a specific way to your movements. If they don't react to what you do a certain way, the whole sequence falls apart. That's some schools. That's not every school, though. That's not every school. In fact, I don't think most schools teach. They don't even teach how your opponent's going to react. I find the opposite. They completely disregard how your opponent's going to react. That's what I've seen. So it's a small Henzo Gracie gym. Well, small for Henzo is 200 members. 500 members is small for Henzo's. And are you going to get are you going to get no, that's still a big association gym. I'm saying find a small gym. It's not an affiliate, it's a small gym with an instructor there there's one or two instructors there all the time that can focus on you. Not Henzo Gracie gym where they cycle through instructors. Even if it's a small Henzo Gracie gym, they probably got 10 different instructors, going in and out of there. It says, I live in the suburbs. Jason says quintet format is a lot about submissions, but also about survival. If you are facing the other team's beast, if you draw the match, it's out. He's out as well. That's true. So the draw is a good weapon if used correctly. That is true. Let's listen to what JB's got to say.
Right. So Kyle lost his father in 2024, right? Shortly before the Olympic trials. In that moment, I'm like, man, I should probably reach out to him. Should probably send him a message and show him some love. And in that moment, I didn't. I didn't send him a message because I'm like, well, buddy's my competitor. He's a guy that I have to beat. I can't be showing him love this close to an event or to a tournament. It's not the right thing to do. Competitors creed. I can't do something like this. I never sent that message. And my dad passed away in late January. And guess who one of the first people to send me a message was? It was Kyle. And, man, sorry. He's a good man. He's a good man. And he did the right thing. And I wish I would have operated with the type of level of concern and care and empathy that he did for me in that moment. And so I'm thankful for that message that he sent me. And it was just a really powerful statement. From that moment on, I was like, I'm not beefing with anyone anymore. This is stupid. It's pointless. It's valueless. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anyone else. We are two guys that could really thrive on one another's knowledge and understanding and perspective of life and of sport. So it was just kind of one of those moments for me that was really profound and impactful. I'm thankful for Kyle more than he knows. I'm embarrassed to say this.
That's JB. He says small. Who's the coach over there, bro? Again, you got to find the right coach. I think I mentioned that. You got to find the right coach that's, has the knowledge. Think of like a Danaher. I mean, Danaher ain't going to work with everybody. He's probably going to retire. You got to find the right coach that can guide you, man. That's why competition schools, there ain't that many competition schools no more. I mean, even in New York, if you're like, hey, Alec, I want a really good coach that's going to help push me to the next level, I would say there's only one school really that would get you there. If you wanted to fight Gianni or whoever, it would be JT Torres. Like, who else is like super high level but super focused on coaching and can give you, help you with everything basically? It would have to be JT Torres in New York. And that's the whole city. I'm saying the whole city of New York, you got to go to JT Torres really. And there might be, maybe there's some other dude, but I think JT Torres is probably the best right now. This made me tear up. Yeah, man, this real stuff out here, bro. Jiu-jitsu over here, they over there doing all these vitamins, ain't help no kids, teaching the wrong move in the fundamentals class, talking crap on everybody else, getting scammed and scamming people and doing drugs and all this other stuff. Wrestling, they over here talking about family and legacy, giving back to the community. You don't hear nothing about that in jiu-jitsu. Gerald says, I think the issue is that BJJ isn't a sport like the others. It is a sport, but our history has always been, even wrestling, we started in the circus. Jiu-jitsu and wrestling, we've been in the circus too much. We too focused on entertainment, numbers, followers, money. We ain't said nothing about legacy. When the last time you heard a jiu-jitsu person talk about their legacy and giving back? You ain't heard Craig say that. Craig does do a lot of charity work. You ain't heard Gordon say that. You ain't heard Danaher say that. You ain't heard the Gracies say that. You ain't heard Marcelo say that. You ain't heard Cobrinha say that. You ain't heard nobody say that. Said jiu-jitsu isn't a sport like the others. If I taught a BJJ class like a wrestling practice, the 6 people that kept showing up would be dope. That is the issues that our sport, and I do like that jiu-jitsu is more welcoming. You might have some ladies in the class, some kids, a teenager, some old people. You couldn't have them old people in wrestling class. So that is true. I think wrestling could, if it made some changes, they could actually get more people into the sport too. I think if you do a hybrid kind of model, so a good example is like Travis Stevens and Colton Brown. They have the judo program, really serious judo program, but then they have their jiu-jitsu program can be more for the hobbyist and as a little gateway into the judo. If you start jiu-jitsu, okay, cool. Oh, what are they doing over there? That's judo? Okay, I want to try that. I think if you do a hybrid program, so jiu-jitsu and wrestling, jiu-jitsu and judo, you can get a lot of people in the door. And then if the judo or the wrestling is too hard, you have the jiu-jitsu for them to fall back on. Kyle is a good person. I think Kyle Dake lost his father a year or two ago, and also Jordan, I think, lost his father this year. So they got a lot of more commonalities than they have differences. They've competed against each other for years. NCAA champions, world champions, Olympic medalist. They got more similarities than differences. Same thing with David Taylor. Says, I will get a car and I will go to JT Torres. Thank you for the advice, brother. Yeah, go to JT. Unity is still. Yeah, Unity. I forgot about Unity. Yeah, but Murillo's scary. Murillo's scary. Thanks, Jason. You forgot about that. And, if you leave Murillo, you might get stabbed, allegedly. JT going to be cool with whatever you decide to do. I said supportive, Jason, not scary. Murillo still got a couple people. I think Roberto's up there. The dude from Costa Rica's up there. Yeah, but Unity not the same Unity as before, though. Let's be honest there. It ain't the same Unity as like 2019 Unity. Can we agree to that, Jason Whitfield? He says it's the Pawns way. We're just gooning in BJJ. Yeah, jiu-jitsu's terrible. You got J-Rod gooning in the background. Does judo have any utility against guard players? They got to do Newaza at that point. Adam Benyun.
To black belt under Ryan Hall, top 10 ranked grappler by Flow Grappling. The big kind of dynamic in this course is going to be exploring the difference between one leg X, standard one leg X, and one leg X with the short hook. We're going to learn how to destabilize our opponent, look to build into wrestling style attacks like the double leg, when to work ourselves into under style attacks like the inside spins, and when we can attack the submissions. I try to offer a balance of conceptual ideas that will give you the groundwork for how to stack your movements while also giving specifics of how the techniques and the mechanics function. I also put together over an hour of rolling commentary as I use the techniques and concepts from this course with my students. I really think that you'll enjoy this course whether you're a beginner or an advanced practitioner, and I know that I've given something that has a lot to offer.
Check out my single leg X course today on Jiu-Jitsu.
My name is Adam Benayoun. I'm a Jiu-Jitsu black.
Sorry, guys, I'm snacking on some pumpkin seeds. Yep. Shout out to my man Adam. He's super cool. What the heck happened to Jiu-Jitsu? They used to be before BJJ Fanatics. They kind of dropped the ball. Well, I did a video on Murillo, and Junie, you guys know Junie, he was not happy. Have you guys seen my video on Murillo on my other channel? Go check it out. I thought it was tastefully done, but some of the Unity people weren't happy. I like Unity people. I wouldn't sit there and do a video and research Murillo if I didn't like those guys.
Family.
Oh man, AI. Sorry, I'm smacking, guys. I'm not sure what J-Rod doing, bro. They're probably gonna let him go back to B Team or whatever the name of the gym is once CJI is over. Then he can go back to gooning like he wants to do. Who doing seminars on gooning? Who letting him do a seminar at their gym? He was going for a specific look, he was going for a specific recreations of people that he had at his gym. So jiu-jitsu getting popular when you got all the girls over here, they twerking in their gi. What the heck is going on in jiu-jitsu? Why are they twerking in their gi? Speaking on gis, we got King's Kimono. Not sponsored by them. It says the MIK Roots limited edition collection. So they got this one with Mika. Born in Manaus and forged through humble beginnings. This gi honors his story. Oh, so it's the Mika. The Mika Roots gi. He got his own gi. Man, I wish I had my own gi. I don't think I'm going to have my own gi for a long time. Says this gi honors his story and heritage by embracing the essence of traditional Brazilian native culture. Built for performance and comfort. It looks like a standard gi. Let's see what's different about it. I think the Brazilian colors, the yellow and green. Okay, that looks kind of cool. A little baggy. Looks cool. What's the gi? It's 400 GSM pearl weave jacket and 290 GSM ripstop pants. Maybe. Looks okay. I haven't liked King's Kimono fit for their IBJF legal one. I didn't really like that fit. Marley seems to know a lot about gooning. Do you like Roy Dean's BJJ content? I don't watch Roy Dean's BJJ. Is he the one that does the belt test thing? Belt requirements? J-Rod, hope he heals himself. Don't worry, guys. He found God. He quoted he did a Bible quote in his bio. He good. That's all Carl Snyder did when he got caught. He quoted the Bible and that was it. Didn't say sorry or nothing. We got Craig over here wearing the Street X gear. Seems okay. CGI Misfits. You guys might be wearing that. Jason Whitfield says, J-Rod teaching a whole week at classes at Gracie Charleston. All right, I will not be there. So he's working. The thing with the Gracie people, they not really in the community. They don't know what's going on. So they don't even know who Craig Jones is over there. Josh Barnett had a seminar a day or two ago. He says, Josh Barnett seminar. What an amazing weekend. Saturday, I went to watch my first full wrestling event since I was 9 years old. It was called Bloodsport, and it was in Rutherford, New Jersey. It was such an amazing time. Then Sunday, Josh did a seminar at my gym. For those of you who don't know, he's a former UFC heavyweight champion, and he is the one that made the Camel Crusher famous, so he is a hero of mine. For once, I got to feel what it's like on the other end of the beatdown. LOL. Easily the most painful scarf I've ever felt in my life. Afterwards, he stayed for open mat and rolled with everybody. The coolest part was that he coached me in MMA round and gave me some good advice, golden advice. I am forever grateful. I forgot about judo people. I guess catch wrestlers too. They do that scarf hold and then that arm bar from the side where they use their leg and that reverse triangle from Turtle. Judo people got some tricks. The old school judo people, not the new school judo people. Someone said, what's there to heal from? I don't know. Trauma? Online bullying? getting kicked out of for his own doings. Says when people get caught is when they all of a sudden find religion. Yeah, that's true. Kyle Snyder, he didn't say sorry to my family, my wife, my kids. He said, just put that Bible quote. And, they didn't let him go to that press conference when he did Final X. They said, let's take the microphone from him. No interview after he won. They told him to go out there and wrestle and come back. The Gracie women's defense class can practice on J-Rod. Oh, no, I hope they protect them ladies from J-Rod. Like, how can you have J-Rod around girls now? You're going to be like, uh-oh. You can't have J-Rod teaching the kids class either. So, listen, it's nothing but issues. So true. The Gracie Academy guys are so out of touch. My professor didn't even know who Hinato Laranja is. All they know is Gracie. They know the Gracies. That's all they ain't learned nothing since the 1990s. That's the last time they learned something. They doing the same old jiu-jitsu. When I practiced judo, I learned some submissions, though I struggled a lot in judo as a kid. It's a tough sport. Talking about J-Rod, we got a women's open mat over here at Movement Art. All right, J-Rod, don't let J-Rod over there. Protect the ladies. Joseph Chin, he back.
I don't try to choke him anymore. I try to, most successful thing is exposing Americana or something. Because this is the only way I've ever finished him from an arm triangle. Otherwise, I just can't finish it. He'll just be here with his arm across, and I just don't know how to finish it. For the most part, I feel like I can finish arm triangles, but with his reaction, it's very difficult. Especially when you answer the phone. I can try to hang up the phone, but from here, I feel like in terms of doing the strangle, I think there's a video of Johnny Grippo just trying to hold him there forever, and he still can use the time. So I don't think it's a problem only I have, but against people who are very good at eating these type of strangles, I usually then just, sorry, your hair is just, yeah. And then from here, I just try to use this as a means to either threaten something like this, or then chain it to a gift wrap.
Joseph Chin sharing some details on the head and arm choke. I mean, just squeeze, bro. Just squeeze. Squeeze and watch for a reaction. That's what I say. Bo Bartlett got wrestling clinics available in New York and New Jersey from August and September. So if you guys have any schools in those areas, try to get Bo Bartlett out there. He's a good kid from what I've seen. Protect the ladies from Jay's Rod.
Vegas Rock.
For sure, protect them. Josh Barnett, I hope, competes at ADCC Poland. Josh Barnett, old. He used to compete a lot, though. When I practiced judo, I learned some submissions. Okay, read that. Protect women from Jay's Rod. Yep. I seen J-Rod taking pictures with a family at the academies he's doing seminars at. A lot of people seem to not care. A lot of those people don't know. They don't know. I think I get maybe 100 views a day or something. Otherwise, unless you're actively looking for the information, you're probably not going to see it. The stuff on J-Rod or Jacob Couch or some of these people. It's so easy. There's so much news that goes on, it gets overlooked or forgotten about. Or, if they're at the Gracie schools, they don't know what the heck's going on. They ain't on Facebook or Instagram or nothing. They drink the Kool-Aid over there. Like Henry Atkins half guard silliness. Yeah, they love that stuff. People be eating that up. Joseph Chin versus Gianni Grippo. Joseph Chin? Joseph Chin is huge. Gianni ain't nothing but 160, guys. He ain't that big. How did Joseph get so good? Clearly, time isn't the factor. He's so young. I think just deliberate practice and a good mind. I think someone like Joseph would be good at a lot of stuff, right? You can there's some really good athletes out there. There's some really smart people out there. And I think Joseph happens to have a lot of attributes that make him good at jiu-jitsu. My thing with Joseph is that he said that he was going to quit jiu-jitsu in a couple years, but maybe he's going to stick with it. If he makes $1 million, I think he would be pretty happy. Says Jay and his rod need to stay away from the women. Yep. You have a point. I'm still riding with Gianni though. You married to Gianni, bro. That's your boot thing. A lot of them were millennial parents too. How would they know if they don't keep up? They ain't got the energy to keep up. They not watching my channel. Joseph is really good and his jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. I have a friend that's just like Joseph, kind of I think Joseph's very unorthodox too. So I think that throws people off. So if you're thinking about a traditional grappling match, Joseph, you gotta do something. You're like, dang, how the heck do you do that? Some people got that funky jiu-jitsu. Kind of reminds me of, you guys remember Elvis, the jiu-jitsu Elvis back in the day? Or, even Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo was doing some crazy stuff. And he started later in life too, right? I think in his 20s. Eddie Bravo got really good. For someone that just picked up jiu-jitsu for fun and, So certain people pick up jiu-jitsu, like my boy John Thomas, they pick up jiu-jitsu. They're always thinking about it. Or they just got the tism. They got the good tism. They make them good. It says, can you promote me to blue belt? I wish I could. I might do that for membership. I don't know how to do that now. I'll look into how to do that. Bruh, people say me and Gianni gonna get married. I laugh when people say that. It's because it's true.
5-finger death punch, but you're also a judo black belt, jiu-jitsu black belt, and you put on events like this that absolutely deliver. And they're discovering guys like Rafael Ferreira, Anthony Molina, so many money bags thrown out tonight.
My favorite matches in PGF history right there.
After 6 minutes, this match finishes with a draw.
But yeah, I gotta know, whose idea was it to start doing the money bag? Someone told me it was you initially.
Yeah, it's, I look at things that it is also entertainment. How do we gamify these things, right? Because everybody who's doing jiu-jitsu judo kind of knows what's happening. But we try to bring in the rest of the rest of the crowd, the rest of the people. That's the only way to really grow this. When your grandmother knows what a triangle choke is, you accomplish the mission, basically.
And you are the founding guitarist. And
where the heck is Zoltan from? Is that an Iranian name or something? Persian name? Does anybody know? They throw money at these dudes. Jeff Glover is very tricky. Braulio Estimo is super tricky with that reverse triangle. Choi from the Choi bar was super tricky. If you're tricky, whoever invented the buggy choke, if you're tricky, bro, people ain't ready for that. If you're unorthodox, you can go a long ways. And I think Joseph he's kind of unorthodox and he has good fundamentals. And he just something slightly different when he does the move. Jeff Glover. It's the only guy can judge me. I need some of that tism. Yeah, you need more tism. I mean, in real life, blue belt. I need this, please. You gotta train, bro. I don't give nothing away. You gotta train, bro. Alex Windling is the best journalist ever. Yeah, she better than me. I admit that. She out here making some real money. I'm over here eating pumpkin seeds in the basement. She over there traveling the world. I'm over here stuck at home. It's all good. We gotta play to our strengths. Speaking about Colton Brown and judo, Colton Brown Training Center, they're doing a national training camp September 8th to the 10th, and it's going to be free. Oh, shoot. If you guys are here in Jersey, must be brown belt or higher to attend. I believe judo brown belt, not jiu-jitsu brown belt. So any of my jiu-jitsu or judo people, go check that out. They pushing for that 2028 Olympics. Best looking, yeah. She definitely got me. J-Rod has some monkey jiu-jitsu. yeah, J-Rod too. I've watched a lot of his sparring videos. You just don't know what he's going to do. The issue is that style don't last very long, And I don't think you can be the top guy with that kind of jiu-jitsu. Like none of those guys, the Jeff Glover, the J-Rods, who else we said had crazy jiu-jitsu? Even Eddie Bravo, those guys don't reach the top of the sport. In fact, it's usually the people with the most boring jiu-jitsu or you can be dynamic but really solid fundamentals. That's who usually wins. Says if someone's highest percentage American Jiu-Jitsu is just white guy, no gi. Yeah, I guess so. If someone's highest percentage sub is Ezekiel, would you say they're unorthodox? Yeah, probably. Where are they doing Ezekiel from? You? Marley Moneyberg. All right. Yeah, that's the way you're going to get his blue belt. Send me $10,000, I'd give you a blue belt. Nah, Alec, nah, she better than me. She be traveling the world, bro. Bro, you great journalist too. Am I a journalist or am I drama starter? I'm going to move to go train with Moneyberg. You can live in his basement. You can live in Moneyberg's basement. You got to put your socks on if you want to train though. That's the only downside. You got to put them socks on. You got to put his socks on. You ain't putting your socks on. You got to put his socks on. His used socks. White people jiu-jitsu. Well, not nighttime. You up, bro? Nighttime. It be about 2 a.m. over there in Japan. He's still up. White people jiu-jitsu versus Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a thing. It's the same thing. Where do you think the Gracie's from? They from Ireland or Scotland or somewhere. Now the kids, they definitely was doing some eugenics over there with the maids. I ain't gonna downplay that. They definitely was doing some breeding down there. Ezekiel from Mount Half and North South. I would say that's pretty unorthodox. Okay, Alex, so you have to set the price of blue belt at $10K. What's your price of black belt? I don't know. Let me talk to Moneyberg. Let me consult the Moneyberg. I just guessed that nighttime world. He said it is 2 a.m. over there. Is it 2 a.m. for sure? Are you joshing me? You know I got my world clock, and it's 1:26 over there in Tokyo. You know I got my world clock to see the different times. You know I got friends all over the place. We got Kleber Souza. Is that his name? Kleber Cladestino. And he's over there with Cobrinha.
A sua experiência treinando aqui com a gente em Los Angeles? Cara, eu tô com 16, 15 anos de jiu-jitsu e eu tô tendo experiências maravilhosas aqui, aprendendo como um faixa branca, né? Abrindo a mente, o coração e tô evoluindo muito, muito feliz de estar ao lado do professor aqui. Só vitória, muita coisa tá acontecendo e vamos pra cima.
E, Clandestino, na vida, nós temos que ser coachable. Ou seja, nós temos que ser ensinado. Então, você...
Sorry, guys, I'm smacking. I'm smacking. Sorry, guys. Let me chew. Most people can't defend from north-south, bro. We can't keep our knees to our chest. Oh, you're saying passing. We try to get to north-south. Everybody try. It's hard to get to north-south. Asim says, how much would he have to pay you to wear his Moneyberg? I don't think I would ever do that. He would have to pay me a couple $1 million to put that thing on. But it's all good, man. I don't want to wear that. And I suggest you guys don't wear that. It says, I'm training from Ireland. Cool, man. Hello, Japan. Eddie Bravo said he has had multiple back surgeries because of his style of jiu-jitsu. It will catch up to you. We looked at the Rotullo twins. Look at Levi. Look at... a lot of these guys, the most exciting dudes, they be tearing everything off. So yeah, jiu-jitsu, I like the exciting stuff, but I'm also thinking longevity for the athletes. What's going to be most effective? I mean, when you watch Gordon Ryan, he's not jumping around or anything. He's just doing the fundamentals really well. Maybe some advanced stuff, but he ain't going fast. It says behind you, is that where the magic happens? Oh, yeah, that's the magic. That's where all the recovery goes. It says cheers from Osaka. I'm only half Japanese. My mom is Irish Canadian from Vancouver. All right, bro. He had Joseph Chin too. he had Joseph Chin. Marley says, if I win an intermediate match, I'm promoting myself to blue belt. I don't care. It's not like I'm training at an academy ever again. You need to train, bro. Go to an academy, bro. Nah, north-south is easy if you're agile, man. The duck-duck-goose sprint around the guard is weirdly effective. Yeah, at white belt. We talking about people with good guards, though. I love the cadence of Japanese people. So we got Kleber over here. I think he's under Almeida Jiu-Jitsu or something. Almayo. I can't remember the name. Anyway, he's really good because he beats up all the AOJ people. He be beating up all the AOJ people. So we're gonna watch a match with him real fast. He's in the white gi, AOJ guy in the black gi.
Let's go. Let's get those legs down. Yes.
Oh, they didn't show the whole match. So this guy, he beats all the AOJ guys that not named Tynan or Cole or anybody, but he beat all the other AOJ guys that you guys don't even know about. So there are some really good athletes out here you guys never hear about. They ain't, flow grappling, says, nah, man, I've been able to do it to Team Blue Belts who way more than me. I mean, yeah. What does that mean, though? No one expects you to do it the first time, so your chances of catching them off guard. Yeah, but you got to do it consistently, though. Training in the gi is the DBZ equivalent of training on that planet with a ton of gravity. Nighttime World says, people think the more bars you have on your belt, the more you can do, but basically it's just the more you've been in the sport. It depends. At black belt, it's about time. In the lower belts, the stripe could mean a lot of stuff. Could mean you won competitions. Could mean you got good attendance. Could mean you paid a lot of money. So we don't know what that means. Have you heard of Darren O'Connell? We did talk about Darren O'Connell a little bit earlier. I know he used to be a coach of one of Fion's coaches back in the day. And I believe he moved to Spain. So I know some stuff, bro. I used to live in Europe. I know some stuff, bro. We got DeAndre Corby over here. I know you guys love Corby Rose. I think I got to get off in a little bit of time. I got to go pack. I got to go packing a little bit, so I can't stay on too long.
Boy, for Eco, because you did put some respect on the name this week, sir.
I was already training at Standard. The first time I ever heard someone say eco or ecological, we were at an ADCC Open in Canada, and one guy came up to us and said, yo, you guys are those eco bros, right? And I was like, huh? What is that, man? I was like, yo. And I went over to my brother and said, dude, they're calling us the eco bros, man. What are they talking about? My coach has been very, he's been pushing the approach and how we train at Standard to the masses. And there's a lot of people that don't agree. But if I got to be the poster boy for the eco bros, I'll do it if they're repping me, man. I'll do it. Will I say I'm an eco bro?
maybe I won't put that title on myself, but I train at Standard Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a student under Greg Stouders, and you can make whatever titles you want to put on me after that.
What does it feel like to be the current poster boy for Eco? Because you did put some respect on the name.
Man, they didn't even. The Corby Bros don't even know what ecological training is. Yeah, I've heard of Darren O'Connell. He's not in Ireland anymore, right? Why do you have to do it consistently? Because that's what getting a blue belt means, doing things consistently. You just got to get the position and win the match. Well, you're not going to have one match. You got to do it consistently. You're going to have 3-4 matches. He's the owner of my gym. Oh, ECGJ. Okay. Is he still the owner of the one in Ireland? So I know we did, he's on IBJF. They did a gym tour of his new gym. I believe it's in Spain. Is that right? I'm going to skip this. We're going to skip a lot of stuff now. Skip that. Skip that. Skip that. Skip that. Yeah, you guys know I got to go pack, so I ain't wasting no more time on most of this stuff. Nah, I ain't listen. I want to look at Greg's orders. Skip that. Skip that. Skip that. Skip that. Skip that. Where's Bunnyberg at? Let's listen to Rotullo's dose.
5% of people are deficient in magnesium.
Well, let's watch this. I do like this though. He's in Spain now. Yes, all of my Europeans in Spain. Yoga for BJJ. The dude from Finland. That's super strong. Need to be tested by USADA. Ecological BJJ to me is just advanced curriculum. You need to have a solid fundamental base before you can even think about that. That makes too much sense. I thought you meant no, consistently as in having that consistently in your game. He owns it, but Marcus Felon is the head coach. Is that the guy who used to date Fionn? How do I know all this stuff? How do I know all this stuff? I don't know if she dated. He definitely coached her though. Not Egan. Not Egan. Darren. I'm saying Marcus. I appreciate what you do. Sometimes people forget to ask you how you're doing. I'm doing good, bro. I'm in the basement getting ready to pack for another trip. So I'm gonna do that in a little bit. Japanese people are so polite. Yeah, they polite, but they want you to go home. That's what I learned when I went to Japan. They're like, oh, okay, when you leave, okay, get out of here. What exactly is the difference between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and American Jiu-Jitsu? One has the American flag and one has the Brazilian flag.
Golden brown, texture like sun.
Can't play that music. This was a good match between Tellez and Pena. It's crazy because Pena he's not the Pena that you guys know. He was kind of goofy and, it wasn't super sharp. Same thing with like, he making mistakes and getting flipped over here. Same thing with like Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan, when he was doing Naga, he wasn't looking that good. He was losing to like regular people. Felipe Pena over here getting his back taken. So it's pretty wild to see these people change their whole style just changes. And just not that long a time. But shout out to Tellez, bro. That was a good match, actually. He won that match, too. Oh.
Over and over and over again. That's how
you guys can't hear. All right, we're going to skip that. Skip that. Skip that. We skipping a lot of stuff, guys. Skip that. Skip that. Where the heck is Moneyberg? Oh, there we go. We're going to watch this a little bit. Ooh, they got some more. Oh, Lyoto Machida, no! Is this Moneyberg's? Oh, this is his.
Cuts. I just know how to do things very thoroughly and deeply. And, the more I tried to understand the little details, the better things fit together in my life. Imagine if somebody came to you and they only want to learn Kimura. They don't want to armbar, they don't want to choke nobody, they don't want to ankle lock, they want only Kimura.
Well, I was thinking about the question. If you ask me that question, what's your go-to move, Royce? It's not the one that I wanna. It's the one that he gives to me, my opponent gives to me. It's whatever the market presents to you.
I'm so happy you said it this way, because that's reality. That's exactly how life is. It's exactly how he said. It doesn't matter what I want. What is the market doing? What are the Lyoto as a person has some very clean thoughts about what is necessary for success. He was, multi-time champion at UFC, but everything in his life is very orderly, that he keeps himself fit. He still keeps his training up. Do these things happen by accident, or are there some rules and structure in place that help someone have a high-quality life?
Of course, you have some rules that you have some values that you have to follow. Otherwise, it's hard to get where you want to be, because sometimes we think that just by lucky you can get whatever you want. That's not true, because success requires a lot of dedication, discipline, persistence. You're gonna struggle, and most of the time you're not gonna get where you want to be unless you win the lottery or stuff like that.
Even you win the lottery, if you don't know how to make the money, and now you get a lot of money, now they're going to make smart decisions with money?
No.
Good old Moneyberg. Why everybody look like they hostage over there in that basement? Yeah, everybody look like a hostage and look sad, defeated. Moneyberg got 4.1 million. What does that tell you? This social media stuff ain't real, bro. This crap ain't real, bro. Mikey? Hey, Mikey. What did it say on there? Gilbert Burns out there too, bro. Oh, no, he got you in the video too, bro?
Life is going to be full of problems, and then at the end, we're all going to die. That's how it is. But it's your choice if you want to have low-quality problems or high-quality problems. It's your choice if you want to deal with the riffraff and peasantry and deal with little low-level scumbag-type problems, alcoholic-type problems, drug addict-type problems, people that are dedicated losers, people that are lifelong losers, and they're dedicated to their craft of losing. So you can have those type of problems, or you can have some middle class problems where you have to ask somebody for permission instead of just saying, "Hey, I canceled those things and I flew back." Did you have to ask anybody for permission, or you just say, "No, hey, I got to go. I can't be here."
Yeah, I got to leave. Yes.
So that's different. That's a lot better problem. A lot better problem. Rich people don't have to ask for permission for much. They just do what they want to do mostly. And but if you're poor, you got to ask somebody for permission.
Yeah.
All the time. If you're middle class, you still got to ask for permission.
You got to own a lot of favors.
Yeah. If you think you're upper middle class, which by the way is just the upper poor, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, guess what? You're still poor.
My man said if you're a doctor or a lawyer, you still poor. Look at Big Dan. Big Dan getting his rent paid. And he got the socks on. Look at Big Dan with them socks. Big Dan, Big Dan like 20 years old. Is that Forrest Griffin? Oh, they got Forrest Griffin on there too.
When reaching financial milestones and long-term goals.
And they got Forrest Griffin in the shirt.
When reaching financial milestones.
Oh, that's sad, bro. Who else wearing these shirts? Claudia over there. Where Claudia at? Mikey, bro. Look at Mikey over there. Gordon over there too.
This is Gordon Ryan, by the way. If you don't know who Gordon is, Gordon's the best grappling competitor ever. He's
all your favorite stars over there. Kamaru said he ain't wearing that shit though. Kamaru said I ain't wearing your face on my shirt. No, I got Mayrab in there too. Oh, dang. Mayrab. Kayla, no! Kayla! Oh, no, Kayla. Take off her gold medal, bro. You don't deserve to wear that medal. Of course, Jake Shields.
I think both of us have spent, 10, 15 years just working, probably at least 15 years working our asses off. We still work hard, but we both have our life set up a little more now where we can kind of pick and choose what we do.
This is my retirement years. I don't have to do shit. I wouldn't want to have to show up for anything in this company because I had to. Honestly, there's other things I could do that I could make equal or more money. But put me in a situation where I can be exactly who I am. I built a brand around me. It's not a contrived thing or a fake personality, a manufactured personality. It's like I just act the way that I act and talk about the things that I'm interested to talk about. The people that want to talk about the new trendy thing, I don't care about the new trendy thing because the trends come and go. And I always thought there was a lot more value in like what are the things that were true a couple thousand years ago and would still be true a couple thousand years from now. Probably I should master that.
Where Claudia at? That's what I'm looking for. Mikey over there.
Success is not possible without repetition and attention to detail.
When you see certain things from those small details, it becomes like impossible to like change your brain back to seeing it the other way. It just seems so like that you're wasting time. That you're either should be 100% into something or not, right? So if you're not going to the small details, what are you even doing? Like learning that if you're not going to be 100% into something.
I think the same way that I'm never going to be any good at tennis because I just don't care and I'm going to make zero effort.
Something I realized, they only got one camera. If Moneyberg's got all this money, why they got one camera? You know, when you film interviews like this, you usually don't use that front angle. Maybe just for social media, but usually you do over the shoulder. Oh, let's watch it. Is that a video? I want to see the video. But they got this one camera where you look like a hostage. Asking other people. You look like a hostage in the basement. He's in Spain. Okay, I'm sorry guys if I missed your comments. I was focused on Moneyberg. Golden brown texture, like the sun. Fionn is from Wales, but she lived in Ireland for a little bit. Come on, bro. You know I know about Fionn. I did a whole video on her. Getting sleepy. I only want to learn Kimura, nothing else. Yes, Moneyberg. Derek triple chin. Yay. Socks. I took my socks. I don't wear my socks in the house. Do you guys wear your socks around in the house? You know Moneyberg uses to be a dating coach for RSD. I mean, what kind of girls was he pulling? What kind of ladies? And Moneyberg, he used to have a baby face too. He messed his face up. Say no to all that bull BS stuff, guys. Don't be taking all that stuff. What's up with all the shady, illegal stuff attached to his name? I mean, the whole Moneyberg. Yeah, all these scam artists. Allegedly. Supposedly. Frank Mir over there. Everybody. You know what? I haven't seen Dana White over there, though. Henry Cejudo. That actually makes me a little sad. Oh shoot! What the heck just happened? We are dedicated losers. Yeah, we're all losers to Moneyberg. We are upper poor. Nah, I'm just regular poor. Those socks get me nauseous. Jake Shields is the lead culprit. Nah, they all involved. If you put that rash guard on, you involved. Cejudo. All these people involved. Yeah, you guys all enabled this dude. All the fake comments. Yeah, them bot comments. Mikey can't articulate his words correctly. He ain't got the good tism. Tammy Musamechi makes my J-Rod hard. Oh, I shouldn't have read that out loud. Tammy's my favorite Musamechi. I always thought people who had the most money never talked about it. That's the old money, not the scam artist money. Allegedly. I had to put that on there so they don't sue me, hopefully. I need to wear socks in the house. My extremities run cold, even during summer. Nighttime World says, in Japan, we put on slippers from the front door. Yeah. Why can't he put on slippers? But he wearing them socks on the floor, on the mat, in the bathroom. Them socks dirty. Nah, Jake Shield is definitely the lead culprit. He's the one that promoted him. He might promote you to blue. We skipping a lot of stuff, bro. Screw it. Let's just watch one match, and that's going to be it. Kyle Terror Academy, we talked about that. I want to see the footage, though. They got the footage of that? 50K damage. That's not terrible. I mean, I don't got 50K to give him. Let's see if they can play the video. With, they always got some commercial. Yeah, I gotta get out of here in a little bit, guys. Gotta go pack and eat whatever little bit of food I have left over. Sorry, guys. We got a commercial. It's not uploading for some reason. Why aren't you uploading? That's a good point. I need to email Jake right now. Yeah, where in Europe did you live? I used to live in Sweden. That's why I know all the Tommy Lengeckers and the Tariqs, Hopstocks, and the
rates on the market.
If I send my money to...
They got the commercials on us today. Yeah, but I traveled, UK, London, Poland, Germany, France, Spain. I didn't get a chance to hit up Eastern Europe, though. Brandon says, have you ever thought about selling some of your YouTube videos so we could watch them all offline? I mean, I think you can download some of those. Is this
A
the right
quorum is not present.
That's after dozens of Texas
Oh, that's not the right thing. I thought we were watching. Nah, that's not the right thing. Where's the news at? Didn't have video of the news? I guess it didn't make the news. Alrighty, we'll move on. We're just going to watch a match and then move on from there. You guys love Helena, so we're going to watch her at her BJJ Stars match. And that'll be it for today.
Começa a luta valendo cinturão dos médios. De um lado, Helena Creva, fenômeno do jiu-jitsu, muito nova, apenas 18 anos de idade, fazendo a sua primeira luta de kimono na faixa preta. Ela que é a atual campeã mundial peso médio na faixa marrom, pegando a Thalita Silva, que é a atual campeã do mundo na faixa preta também peso médio. 2 pontinhos já para que é a atual 18 anos de idade. Helena Creva, fenômeno do jiu-jitsu,
takedown. Single leg.
Apenas 18 anos de idade, fazendo a sua primeira luta de kimono na faixa preta. Ela que é a atual campeã mundial peso médio na faixa marrom, pegando a Thalita Silva, que é a atual campeã do mundo na faixa preta também peso médio. 2 pontinhos já para
He said Helena, won brown belt worlds and just got her black belt. Clean 2 points, can't argue that 2 points. Come up with new material, which is hard, isn't stand-up comedy. Yeah, those videos take like a month or 2 to make, maybe longer. I think Helena's better in the gi. And she's Danaher's daughter. She's the new star of King's Way. And she does mostly gi. Giancarlo did mostly gi coming up. Margali did mostly gi until the last couple years. So nice little armbar attack maybe there. Uma plata.
No no-gi dispensa maiores apresentações, mas também gosta de se testar de kimono, inclusive tem esse objetivo.
So Helena's really good, but she's not used to fighting tough girls. Usually the girls, they let her pull guard and then she just, sweeps them and submits them. But at black belt, the girls are really good. Yeah, definitely 2 points. Little collar sleeve here. The issue is that it's hard to sweep these girls in the 5 minutes she's got to work. So the other girl just got to move around a little bit on top, not mess up. Little nice throw by. Ooh, north-south. There you go, Marley. There you go. North-south. But you see people actually can use their legs at black belt. Was it Josiah or Marley that does north-south? Potentially an advantage there. Helena does have a really good close guard. Again, 5 minutes to work. So, she should have fought harder for that takedown, to defend the takedown. Because it's going to be hard to sweep this girl. This girl's got good passing, good movement. Making her grips. We don't really wrestle up like this in the gi. People in the gi, they're going to jump on you. They can fly an armbar you if you hold too long. You know, Helena actually has a decent guard. Oh, that girl, that Brazilian girl, good though.
É de kimono a história é diferente, né? E essa questão também do tempo. Ela lutou na faixa marrom 8.
So you know, Helena going through it. She taking some L's, but that's the good L's that help you develop.
7 minutos.
4 minutes. Helena's down by 2. Even if Helena manages a sweep, if it went to decision, it would go to the other girl. Helena would need to sweep and pass, or even if she swept and got to the back, it would still be just 2. The other girl's pressuring in really well. Helena playing a little too loose for 3 minutes left. You know, about 3 minutes, you gotta start working your single leg X, your shin to shin, your wrestle ups, your sweeps, your sit up guard. It's really hard to sweep people in 3 minutes from the spider guard. You know, you're probably not gonna submit them either. Close guard, really slow. The other girl, you know, she know how to play the game. So this to me was more of a strategic kind of issue. Not to say that, you know, I could do better in that situation. Helena scares me. No, man, you good. Some of the videos, like your stiff arm video you suggested to me, I would like to buy to watch offline. I don't want to watch YouTube subscription. Yeah, I don't have it to where you can buy it right now. You can download it to it's on YouTube. You can download it offline on the app, I believe. Little high guard here. This ain't gonna work. Come on. And she ended up getting stacked. You guys don't realize Helena's a big girl. She not small. She's not a small girl whatsoever. So if you guys wanna date Helena, you gotta. She big. She a big girl. I say if you don't submit the person, you didn't really win. Well, most people are not going to submit. World champion black belt by an advantage this week. The thing is, the skill level is so good and so equal that it's hard to beat some of these people. You know, you're doing everything in your power to just get that advantage. That's all, and that's all you're going to get. You're not going to score. I would run around Helena's guard into north-south. Well, she would just sweep you. She would have triangled you before you did all that. Yeah, at the highest level, game of inches. Yeah, a game of penalties and advantages. She plays lasso guard and spider guard. I learned to defend against that at purple belt. She good though, bro. Everybody's spider guard not the same. You come to black belt, you ain't gonna be some of them grips you can't break. 135 again. It's hard to sweep. It's hard to sweep. And the other girl's good. You know, the other girl's really good. Helena's trying to wrestle up. It doesn't count. Maybe an advantage. How did she set that up? Nah, that's not what I was trying to do. How did she set that up, though? Looks like the girl was passing kind of low. And then trying to run away. She's just trying to run away here. Here, grab the leg. And falls off the mat. She's not going to get a submission. Bro, Helena, she probably kicked your ass, bro. I'm sorry, bro. You weigh like 135, bro. She gonna kick you. Helena's like 150, 160 or something, bro. And she tall, bro. She might got your number, bro. Your staple passing ain't gonna work on her. Yeah, bro. Helena will take you out, bro. Guard pull. She shouldn't pull guard now. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. She shouldn't have pulled guard. Now she's down 1 minute. Other girls in double unders. Says I'm only 5'8.5". I think she's 5. Nah, bro, she's big, bro. 5'7" still tall. I think she might be taller. She's still growing, bro. Gordon gonna give her the right vitamins. She's gonna keep growing. 48 seconds. There's no way to come back from this. Not in modern jiu-jitsu. She would need to do some type of lapel drag to the back. Yeah, she got that. Crazy. Oh, penalty. Still don't matter. She's gonna stall now. Because honestly, even competing at brown belt alone is different. Everyone is usually good at their game at that point and defending, especially at IBJJF level. Yeah, that's basically it. Nah, I'm ankle picking her, and she gonna throw that triangle up on you. But Noah Marley, he might let himself get triangled. He might just pass out in her triangle. All right, guys, that's it for today. I gotta go pack and get ready. We should be on tomorrow. We definitely should be on tomorrow. That's basically it, man. I really got nothing else to say. You guys take care. Yeah, my money's on Helena, bro. That's it. Oh, let me see this real fast. What is that over there?
The highlight for me was Joseph Chen talking shit to Nicky Rod.
I didn't even know you knew what an Ashley Army was.
It's before the competition, so we're like, hey, let's be light, let's be loose. And Joseph has this habit of narrating roles and talking shit, which is great. But he starts doing it to Nicky Rod, and it's too close to game day. So Nicky Rod just goes ham.
Nicky Rod need to work on his guard. He ain't got no guard either, guys.
I don't blame Nicky Rod for going this hard on Joseph, considering he was talking shit.
But I was trying to call it short. I was like, hey, don't get this man mad. Don't get him angry. Let's not provoke the big bull that is Nicky Rod.
Joseph is unassuming, right? Like, he doesn't look like he'd be a master of jiu-jitsu, but in fact, he's extremely good.
The highlight for me was...
It's crazy, the people that been training jiu-jitsu for like 2 years are like, he's really good. Knowing full well, who got technique over there at B team? I think Craig got the most technique over there. Ethan's pretty technical too, but he does some stuff. Damien, I don't know what Damien does. Of course, Joseph Chin is the most technical guy over there. Who's a technician over there? They ain't got no technician. Joseph and Craig, they're the only ones that train in the gi. I think Ethan trained in the gi as well. They're the only ones the guys that train in the gi are the most technical guys. Whereas all the MMA dudes and no gi dudes, they're like, oh my God, can't play no guard. He says, this is in Tokyo. I almost went. Was that the quintet? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I got to get out of here, start packing. I got to go in a little bit. So you guys take care of yourselves. Stay out of trouble. Stay away from Grippo. And that's it, guys. I want you guys to be healthy. And today is White Belt Wednesday, so try to help out a white belt. If you see them struggling with something, try to help them tie their belt and shrimp, the same old stuff. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble. That's it, man. Keep training. Keep doing what you guys can do. We should be on for Thursday and Friday, which we should still be on. And that's it, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. No more exit video. I got to make a new one for myself. We're not playing our old exit video anymore.